Welcome back to our Bible Summary series. Today, we explore the book of Exodus, one of the most dramatic and foundational books in the entire Bible. Exodus is the story of liberation, covenant, and identity. It reveals how God rescues his people from oppression, forms them into a nation, and teaches them how to live in relationship with him. If Genesis tells us how everything began, then Exodus tells us how God began shaping a people for himself. This book is filled with unforgettable moments: the burning bush, the 10 plagues, the parting of the Red Sea, the 10 commandments, and the golden calf. Let's dive in and see how God leads his people from slavery to freedom. Background and context. Exodus is traditionally attributed to Moses and is the second book of the 5 books of the law, known as the Torah or Pentateuch. The events take place around the 15th or 13th century BC, depending on historical interpretation. The word Exodus means departure or going out, and it captures the central event of the book, the miraculous escape of the Israelites from Egypt. But Exodus is not only a story of escape, it is a story of identity, worship, covenant, and God's faithfulness. The structure of Exodus can be divided into 3 main parts. 1. Israel and Egypt, chapters 1 to 18, slavery, plagues, and deliverance. 2. Israel at Mount Sinai, chapters 19 to 24, covenant and the 10 commandments. Worship and presence, chapters 25 to 40, the tabernacle and God dwelling with his people. Through these events, God reveals himself not just as creator, but as redeemer, a God who rescues, leads, and lives among his people. Now let's walk through the story. Section 1. Israel's slavery and the birth of Moses, Exodus 1-2. The book opens generations after Joseph. The Israelites have multiplied greatly in Egypt, and a new Pharaoh arises who does not remember Joseph. Fearing the growing population, he enslaves the Israelites and imposes harsh labor. When oppression fails to limit their growth, Pharaoh orders all newborn Hebrew boys to be killed. In this dark time, a Hebrew baby is hidden in a basket and placed in the Nile. Pharaoh's daughter finds him and names him Moses, meaning drawn out of the water. Moses grows up in the palace but later kills an Egyptian slave master and flees to Midian, where he lives as a shepherd. Even as Moses is far away, God hears the cries of his people and remembers his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Section 2. The Call of Moses, Exodus 3-4. While tending sheep, Moses encounters God in a burning bush, a fire that does not consume. God reveals his name, I am who I am. He tells Moses that he has seen the suffering of his people and will deliver them. Moses is chosen as God's messenger. But Moses hesitates. Who am I? What if they don't believe me? I'm not a good speaker. God answers each concern with patience and power, giving Moses signs and appointing his brother Aaron as his spokesman. The mission is clear. Go to Pharaoh and demand the release of God's people. Section 3. The plagues and God's judgment, Exodus 5-12. Moses confronts Pharaoh with God's message, "Let my people go." But Pharaoh's heart is hardened, and he refuses. This leads to a dramatic series of 10 plagues, each targeting Egyptian gods and demonstrating the superiority of the God of Israel. 1. Water turned to blood. 2. Frogs. 3. Gnats. 4. Flies. 5. Livestock disease. 6. Boils. 7. Hail. 8. Locusts. 9. Darkness. 10. Death of the firstborn. The final plague is the most devastating. God instructs the Israelites to sacrifice a lamb, and mark their doorposts with its blood. This event becomes known as the Passover, because the angel of death passes over the homes marked by the blood. This night breaks Pharaoh's resistance, and he finally allows the Israelites to leave Egypt. Section 4. The Red Sea and the Journey Out. Exodus 13:18. The Israelites begin their journey, guided by God Himself. A pillar of cloud by day, a pillar of fire by night. But Pharaoh changes his mind and pursues them with his army. Trapped between the Egyptian forces and the Red Sea, the people panic. Yet God commands Moses to stretch out his staff, and the waters miraculously part. The Israelites walk through on dry ground, while the Egyptian army is swept away when the waters return. This moment becomes one of the most defining acts of salvation in the entire Bible. On the other side, the Israelites celebrate with songs of victory, but the wilderness soon tests them. Thirst, hunger, and fatigue lead to complaints. God provides manna, quail, and water from a rock, revealing both His power and His patience. Section 5. The Covenant at Sinai. Exodus 19:24. 3 months after leaving Egypt, the Israelites arrive at Mount Sinai. Here, God offers them a covenant. "You will be my treasured possession, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation." God speaks to the people from the mountain, giving the 10 Commandments, which describe how to love God and how to live with others. Additional laws follow, covering justice, ethics, and worship. The people agree to the covenant, saying, "All that the Lord has spoken, we will do." The covenant is sealed with sacrifices and sprinkled blood, marking Israel officially as God's people. Section 6. The Golden Calf and God's Mercy. Exodus 32:34. While Moses is on the mountain receiving instructions, the people grow impatient. They ask Aaron to make a god for them, and he shapes a golden calf. The people worship it with celebration. When Moses returns and sees the idolatry, he breaks the stone tablets in anger. God threatens judgment, but Moses intercedes for the people, pleading for mercy. God forgives Israel, but also disciplines them. He commands Moses to carve new tablets, and he renews the covenant. God reveals His character, merciful and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in steadfast love. Section 7. The Tabernacle and God's Presence. Exodus 25:40. The final chapters focus on the tabernacle, a portable sanctuary where God will dwell with His people. God gives detailed instructions: the Ark of the Covenant, the altar, the lampstand, priestly garments, the tent structure, the holy place, and the most holy place. The people donate materials gladly. Skilled craftsmen obey God's design exactly. When everything is complete, the glory of the Lord fills the tabernacle so powerfully that even Moses cannot enter. This ending shows the heart of Exodus. God rescues His people so He can live among them. Key themes. 1. God as deliverer. God hears the cries of the oppressed and acts with power and compassion. 2. Covenant relationship. Exodus defines how God's people should live in worship, justice, and obedience. 3. Judgment and grace. The plagues show God's judgment. The Passover shows His mercy. 4. God's presence. The tabernacle reveals God's desire not just to save, but to stay close. 5. Human weakness. Despite miracles, the people often complain and rebel, showing our need for God's patience and guidance. Important characters: Moses, leader, prophet, mediator; Aaron, assistant and first high priest; Pharaoh, symbol of human pride; Miriam, prophetess, Moses' sister; Joshua, emerging leader; the Israelites, a people learning how to follow God, life lessons in modern application. Exodus teaches us that God sees our struggles and hears our cries. He is not distant, He acts. The story shows that true freedom is not simply escaping oppression, but learning to live under God's guidance. We learn that God is faithful even when we doubt. Obedience brings life. Worship matters. Leadership requires humility. God desires to dwell with His people. Exodus invites us to trust God's power, follow His commands, and remember His presence in our daily lives. Key verse in closing, Exodus 14:14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. This verse captures the heart of Exodus. God is the one who rescues, leads, and protects His people. Thank you for joining this journey through the book of Exodus. If this video helped you understand the story in a deeper way, please consider giving it a like, sharing it with someone who might enjoy it, and leaving a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts or reflections. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next episode in our Bible Summary series, where we explore the book of Leviticus. Your support helps this series reach even more people.